You might not be an organ tissue eye donor, but maybe you thought about it and you've just been waiting for the right time.
Yeah, now could be that time. April is National Donate Life Month.
That's right, and Tom Neal comes to us from the Nebraska Organ Recovery System. Good to see you, Tom.
Nice to have you back.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Always love having you back. It's good catching up, you know, periodically to remind us about why this is so important. But really put this in perspective for us. How many people are on a waiting list? How many lives can a single donor make? Just kind of give us an update.
Certainly. Well, right now we're at 122,000 people are on the waiting list for a life-saving organ transplant, meaning all other medical efforts have been exhausted, and this is the only thing that will save their life. Sadly, the list keeps going up and up. The good news is every 19 minutes an organ's transplanted. The bad news is every 10 minutes another person's added to that list.
Of all of those people, how many are in Nebraska? Do you know?
We average around 500.
On the waiting list,
Yep.
just here? So Mike had said, how many lives? So if I am, I did it at the DMV. Yeah. I said yes, so I've got,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's on my
that.
driver's license. In being a registered donor, how many lives could I ultimately impact?
Well, one organ donor can actually save up to 8 lives, and if you're a tissue donor, you can enhance the lives of up to 60 more.
Wow.
Yeah, so we bring you on so our viewers can help you out.
Yep.
So how can our viewers register? How long does it take to get the job done?
Well, all you have to do is go to our website, www.nedonation.org. It takes about 30 seconds to register, or as you mentioned, you can go in for your driver's license and mark that box. It's that easy.
How many Nebraskans are registered compared to those eligible, right? Like, what's the gap look like?
Exactly. Well, we've got about 704,000 Nebraskans currently registered. It's about 52% of the eligible Nebraskans. Sounds like a lot, 50%.
I think
That's
that
pretty
sounds
good.
low.
Well, and actually we're
Like,
about
I
20
to
to...
be a cheerleader for this, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, and I appreciate that. Yeah, we're about 20 to 30% behind most states in the Midwest.
Why is that? Are there misconceptions out there? I guess, why don't people sign up? What are some of the reasons?
Well, one of the biggest is they really think that if the doctor or the hospital knows that they're a registered donor, they're not going to work hard to save their life. Sadly, that's as far from the truth as possible. The doctors are going to do everything they possibly can to help their patient. Only if all medical efforts have been exhausted, and this is the only option, that's when we get involved.
Yeah.
Are there age restrictions on donations?
Actually, there's no age restrictions on most organs. We had a gentleman last year, 92 years old.
Wow.
He donated at the time of his death and saved 2 people's lives.
And
So-
what a legacy.
Exactly.
You know, what a legacy for him.
There's people out there that have certain medical conditions, maybe nothing life-threatening, but are there any restrictions on, I guess, a medical rule out?
Well, actually, there's very few, and HIV used to be the only absolute medical rule out. But back in November, President Obama signed the HOPE Act, and that now allows us to recover HIV-positive organs and give those to HIV-positive recipients, giving them another chance at life.
Once you decide that you want to donate, and you register, it's official, you recommend talking to your friends and family about that decision. Why is it important to do that in the first place, and what are you trying to avoid in having the conversation when everybody's healthy and well?
Well, I think that if you have that conversation, you know, it lets your family and friends know this is what my final wishes are. And, you know, it's a very stressful time, you know, emotions are high. We don't necessarily want to come on and talk to them and have them be surprised at anything that goes on. The good news is once you've registered, it is called first-person consent, and we're actually legally obligated to fulfill those wishes if at all possible. But again, we want the families and friends to feel comfortable that this is really what their loved one wanted.
Yeah, and how does this all work? I understand the process of registering to be an organ donor, but how do you connect the donors with the hospitals and the transplant centers as well? How do those all come together?
Well, that's really where we are the middleman between hospitals and transplant centers. If death is imminent at a hospital, they'll contact us. We'll come on site, we'll check the registry and so forth. If that candidate is viable for organ donation, we coordinate the waiting list. We start calling folks on that list to say, hey, we found a kidney for you, or we found a heart, that type of thing. We get the transplant team in place, we coordinate the operating room and so forth, and make that transition to Donate Life Services.
Do the families ever meet after a donation, and how do because I've seen a couple of stories, how do those
Yeah,
come
those
about?
meetings are nice, but
Yeah.
how does that unfold?
Well, the donation process itself is anonymous. so that, and we do share a little bit of information just to help people connect. So we might say, well, Mary, you got a kidney today.
Yeah.
It was from a 17-year-old male who liked to golf. So you can kind of get that relationship. But after 13 months, if you really would like to meet your donor family, you can write to us. We'll kind of take out all the information from that that's personal, send that on, and frankly, if they'd like to meet, then we can start a conversation.
Yeah.
And really, either party can start the conversation, but if either one doesn't want to meet, sadly, that's where it ends.
Sure.
I would encourage our viewers, there are some really great stories online of people who've donated, who've been impacted on the receiving side of this. And so if you're on the fence at all, I think it makes a difference to listen to some of those interviews and some of those stories on the Nebraska Organ Recovery website, and you're taking a look at it right now. There's some more information. They're at 85th and Center. The phone numbers are there. But really, the DMV is one of the best places to start. If you want to become a registered donor, you can just do it online. Whatever's easiest for you. Thank you for coming in.
You bet. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
You betcha.